Hello my scrappy friends and welcome to my channel again today. It is the 1st of June. I can hardly believe it. This page is for Scrap the Boys for June. Yeah, for June, I just said that. And we've got this mood board to be inspired by, and here is the layout that I have created. So I was really inspired by obviously the graphic, and I created my own galaxy, which is it's about a third of what this video is. So bear with me. If you remember a couple of years ago, there was a lot of people creating galaxy backgrounds with watercolors. I always meant to give it a go and I never got around to it. So I finally have now. What I've got here is a 9 by I think it's 9 by 12 piece of watercolor paper that as you can see, I've taped down to my glass mat. I've got my Kuretake Gansai Tambi watercolors here. If you want to know the colors, leave me a comment and I can get them back to you. I did make sure I wrote them down. What I first did after I taped it down though with that big brush was apply a coat of water to this paper so that these watercolors will move around the way that they are. I've chosen a few colors that I'm going to use and I'm starting with the lightest, adding that in as you can see, and then just dabbing in more color, gradually working my way through to the darker colors, adding splatters and then blending that out with some water and just letting this color to flow, adding a bit more water. And I go in with quite a few different coats here. I decided to add in a bit more of a tealy colour, and you can see I'm just adding colour, moving the colour around, adding more water, and just generally having fun. So I've added in some pink here. It does look purple on the video, but it does stay pink, which I was very impressed with. I'll see now that looks pink there. But in all the colours, I did keep referring back to the mood board for the colours and stuff that I wanted to pull. But as you can see, I'm just adding in lots of colour. There's a ton of water on here, and so I'm just using my paper towel to soak up some of that water. I use my heat tool as well. And it's just a process of getting the colours to where I like it. Sorry, I just had my heat gun out for a second there. Dried that off, and now I'm coming back in with these darker colours. I accidentally added the purple first and then was like, oh my goodness, I didn't mean to add the purple first, I meant to add the blue first. So I'm just making sure that I've got enough of the blue that it's not going to be a purple page. And again, more water, more colour, using my paintbrush, moving the colour around without too much rhyme or reason. I'm trying not to cover up the whole background and leaving bits of where the previous layers colours are peeking through. In the end, I really love how this turns out. I'm really happy with it. This month our sponsors are Cut to You. So I've chosen a cut file from them to work with, which I forgot to show you at the beginning of the video, but that's okay because you see it for most of the video. This is black, I think. Yeah, this is the black. I was a little bit cautious adding it to start with. I was like, I don't want to add too much black. I don't want to make this like black. But you can see I kind of add a bit more water, and then I just kind of, you can see I'm just moving the color around, making patterns without making patterns, and you can still see those colors underneath coming through, which I really love. Here I come in with more of like the blacker black, less watered down. And you can see I'm not being particularly cautious where I'm putting the color or anything like that. I soak up some more of this water again, and then I come in with my heat tool, and I've left all of this footage in because, so what I've done is I'm adding colour while I'm drying and dabbing at the same time. And this is super sped up because this video was fairly long. But you can see I'm not being shy with that black anymore. And while the black is still wet, I'm going to come back in with some of these other colours, starting with the blues, the teal. I'm pretty sure I come in, yeah, that's the pink. I'm just adding bits and pieces of colour here and there. Like I said, without too much thought of where the colour was going. Just kind of going, oh, that's a bit too pink now, or a bit too blue, or there's too much black. Adding in some colour, adding in some water, just moving the colour around. And going, does this look like a galaxy? I'm like, oh my, by the time I finished this part, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I've done this right. I did leave it overnight to dry. I think that might be what's next. So I've added in this sparkly, it's kind of clear, sparkly. I thought that was perfect for the idea of like a galaxy, white splatters, and once I've got my white splatters on, I'm like, yes, I did it. My youngest Hunter came out the next morning and I said, go have a look what I made. And he went and had a look. I said, and he go, before I had a chance to say anything else, he said, oh, it's a galaxy, Mum. So I'm going to call that a win. And here it is. So I've pulled it off my mat and then I've stuck it to my cameo mat. You can kind of see the cuts there. But what I've done is I have cut the internal letters using that paper that I created. And I'm just going to stick that down. I'm going to show you just a little bit of this. I did decide to cut some of it apart because it's easier to stick down a few bits and pieces rather than the whole lot. I have tried to do the whole lot before. And there it is, all finished with foam on the back. I cut that in black paper. It's a, can't remember which brand, but it's black paper. Pink paisley. It's black pink paisley paper. And then I've got this black and white from Coco Vanilla Studio Unforgettable Collection. My oldest boy bought me some of the India ink paint colours that I have been using. I do use them mostly for the splatters, the black and white. And he got me a few other colours. This pink was a perfect match for what I wanted. I did put everything onto this page without anything in the background, and I just felt that it kind of blended in a bit. So I decided to add a bit of a watercolour wash. I've just watered some of the pink, the colour's called Galar. Just watered some of that down and giving it a quick wash straight across the background. I have done nothing else to my background here. And you can see my paper is warping a fair bit. And I have a fix for that, so thank you very much, Paige Evans, for sharing that idea. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it to dry. Actually, I think I use my heat tool. Yeah, use my heat tool to dry that. You can see it's quite warped. I'm going to go in with some splatters, just using that same colour again, and the same paintbrush in fact as well. Pop that aside to dry. I'm going to add, I didn't want to add paper layers behind my photos, so I'm just going to go in with some tissue paper, and I just wanted it to be a bit interesting with different layers and stuff. So you can see I'm just folding this. I'm going to stick all three down. Got 3 photos of my boys today. This photo was actually taken the first day of school this year. I'm going to add some journaling, I think, to the back because I couldn't find a place where I wanted to add it to the front. But I mean, my life with these kids is just, they're so funny. They crack me up. I just want a nice photo, and I gave up many years on the nice photo. Depending on what kind of mood they're in will determine whether I go for the nice photo first or last. Sometimes I think this day I managed to get the nicest photo first, and then I was like, okay, now get your silly on, be silly boys. And so I got the other photos. The two on the edges do look like the same photo, but they are slightly different, taken a couple of seconds apart, but they were too funny. So this is what my background's looking like. I was going to use, sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my brain, but clearly I can't add. I thought that I would use those pink hearts from, I think they're Bella Boulevard. You can see I've got one resting in there, just making sure that it's going to be the right size. And it is, it's a perfect size. You see though, in a little while, I go to stick them all on and I don't have enough. I'm one short. I don't know how I did the maths wrong, but I did. Happy with how this is looking, so I'm going to start working on a cluster. I decided to just go with one little cluster down the bottom here. And you can see I'm going to try a few different bits and pieces. I give up pretty quickly. Flowers and stars have nothing to do with each other, but that's totally okay. I'm going to try a couple of things and then I'm going to give up. I don't really know what I was looking for, but then I saw the clear stickers. I stuck those ones that I've got off to the side there on some smooth white cardstock and fussy cut them. I am going to now fix my warped cardstock. Well, it's not even cardstock, it's pattern paper, because it was driving me crazy. I wanted to make sure that I had those lines going vertically because I've got the text going horizontally on this paper. So you can see I'm just sticking that down. It's really warped. I'm going to grab my ink carrier sheet. I think. Where have I gone? Sorry, it's not much fun watching an empty screen. Mint carrier sheet. I'm pretty sure I put that through my machine twice. Flattens that out enough that I can put stuff on it without it falling off. And I have also stitched right around the outside border with some white thread. I'm going to start sticking things down using my T-square ruler, making sure it is in the middle and straight. And I'm just going to work a little bit at a time on this card file because it's always much easier to do it this way than to try to do the whole lot. So I've added glue to the word back. I'm going to hold that down and then I go ahead and do the rest of the cut file the same way, and then I stick my photos down. So this is where I'm going to add in my hearts. I'm like, that's not right. And then I add these big ones and I wasn't convinced with them from when I put them down. So you will see that they change. I've got my little cluster happening here of flowers. I really like how this looks. Tuck my little camera in there as well. Just trying to get an even mix, not an even, but like a balance of colors. Gosh, there are my words. I'm going to stick most of it down flat and then use foam on the camera. Just holding that in place. I'm going to come in with some more of these pink hearts, which again I change out at the end. You don't see it. I do it off camera, but I add in some enamel dots basically where those hearts are. Making sure my cut file's stuck down properly. What am I doing? I think at this point I decided, yeah, I was going to add a couple more things. I was like, I need something else. I try a couple of stickers. I'm just removing the adhesive from the back. And then I decided that I wanted to bring in the that minty tealy, it's more of a mint colour than anything. So I've got these are from, so at the top is from the cut apart sheet, I think from the 6x8 paper pad. And then this this little word strip says the best things in life are free, and that is from the accessory sticker sheet. I'm going to add in a flare, and the flare says snapshots, which I thought was perfect, and nestling that in there with my camera. I do cover up one of the flowers, but that's okay, it's not the end of the world. So this is where I left my page. You will see in the close-ups that I've swapped out the pink hearts for gold, and then I've added those 3 clusters around, like the 3 clusters of 3 enamels around my main cluster there. But yes, be inspired by this month's mood board, inspiration board. Love to see what you create. Make sure you head over to Cut To You as well. They have got some beautiful cut files over there that fit this theme beautifully. I know the other girls have got some other gorgeous layouts to share as well, so make sure you head over to the Scrap the Boys blog to check all of that out. I hope that you have enjoyed, and please leave me a comment or questions or anything, and I will see you again for my next share. Have a fantastic scrappy day.